Caring for a child with special needs can make the already challenging job of being a parent even harder. But we've got some great tips for you today. Autism specialist Joed Lara is here to give us some tips on how to raise a child with autism. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Now tell me, what should you look for if you suspect your child may be autistic? Are there signs to look for?
Absolutely. What we see is early on, no eye contact. The child doesn't respond when the parents call the name often. In fact, a lot of parents have their children tested for hearing because they think, oh, maybe there's something wrong. She's not hearing me, not hearing me. A lot of lining up in ritualistic behavior, color coordinated, insistence on sameness. Only the red blocks can be here. Oh no, don't put that green block in here. Only the red block in here.
Interesting. So you start seeing some of these signs. What do you do?
Very early on, 14, 12, 14 months.
And what should you do?
Absolutely have your child assessed. You'll want to go to your pediatrician and have an assessment done either through your pediatrician, or if the child is already of preschool age, go to your home school. Your home school for a 2, 3, and 4-year-old will do your assessment for you. The psychologist, school psychologist, will do the assessment. Okay,
good to know. And you've talked about some of the signs to look for. I know that autism affects different children differently.
Absolutely.
It's never the same. But what are some of the typical symptoms and signs that you'll see as a child gets older?
Well, there's 3 criteria for an eligibility of autism. 1, you have a speech and language impairment or challenge. A behavioral, like we talked about, ritualistic, lining up, or a behavioral that manifests itself in tantruming, screaming, and not able to tolerate sensory noises. And then the 3rd one is social skills. So those are the actual 3 criteria for autism. You must have all 3 to have autism.
Okay.
If you don't have one, if you don't have, say, the social skills impairment piece, you do not have an eligibility of autism. You have something else, neurologically impaired, but you don't have autism.
And I know that it can be difficult and challenging to teach a child who is autistic, but you've created a program.
I have.
That's an alternative, not your traditional teaching lesson. So tell me about that. How does it work?
Well, I actually created Autism Movement Therapy. I'm just coming from Chicago, where I did 3 workshops and a training session because I'm doing certification now in Autism Movement Therapy. But I created it because I have a BA in dance, and I danced for 20 years, and I have a master's in moderate to severe and multiple disabilities, and a California teaching credential, K to 12.
So you put them all together?
Put them all together, put the dance with the cognitive and the academic instruction, and those knowledges and strategies. And what I'm working with is the left and right hemisphere of the brain. Our kids are one-sided.
Okay.
They're either right hemisphere or left hemisphere, but the 2 sides of the brain are not talking to each other. So we're dealing with the corpus callosum, which is the bridge between the left and right hemisphere. The neurotransmission of information needs to be jump-started often in order for the children to retrieve information from long-term and short-term. So that's what Autism Movement Therapy does, because when you listen to music and receive information audially and you visually process imagery, you have to use both sides of the brain.
So it's working. So this program is really working. What response do you see from the kids?
Speech and language is kicking in.
Really?
Pragmatics is kicking in. The actual speech itself is kicking in. It's the first area that parents say, call me, email me, oh my gosh, they're speaking.
That must be so amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
For you and for the kids.
For the kids, fabulous.
Tell me about the Arts for Our Kids with Disabilities program.
I'm on a big campaign. No more doom and gloom. 1 in 91 children have autism, are born with a neurological impairment manifesting in autism right now. It's a pandemic.
Scary. Scary.
But what our kids don't get is access to the arts. So we're on a not doom and gloom campaign, but a campaign for what our kids can do. Our kids are fabulous in the arts. They excel many times in visual arts, painting, singing. A lot of times children that don't speak, that are nonverbal, will actually sing.
Isn't that amazing?
And it's amazing. We have other alternative forms of therapy that we're using now. Movement and music, Autism Movement Therapy, which is mine, horseback riding, surfing, karate, yoga for autism, visual arts. The arts are where our kids excel, and it's what they get the least of.
And this is a wonderful special program. Do you also think that kids who are autistic should be in a traditional classroom setting as well?
Absolutely. Inclusion is, in mainstreaming, is the way to go. Why? Because we have our peers, our neurotypical peers who become their role models, become their friends. Our kids should have access to the curriculum, access to extracurricular activities, and access to a normal, typical community environment. And they get that within an inclusion setting.
Joanne, thank you so much for opening our eyes to this. What a great program.
Thank you.
Okay, great
Absolutely.
to meet you. And for more information about Aut-erobics, go to autismmovementtherapy.com. Thank you so much for watching Parents TV, and we'll see you soon.